The thing with lead generation is that most companies approach lead generation as a single entity. I am doing Google, I am getting someone to click, I am getting someone to register, and that's it. That's the end of the conversion process, right? We look at PPC lead generation as this is the beginning of a waterfall of a 6 to 12 month to 24 month process of converting a lead into an opportunity, and then from that opportunity into a client, into a close, right? And so what that means is we're looking at the holistic ecosystem of lead quality as it goes through this entire process, right? So as an example, when a lead gets generated, I can generate a lead by just asking them their contact information, and that lead will be very cheap. It could be a $4 lead, a $5 lead, a $6 lead. But knowing nothing about what this consumer is actually interested in means that the alerts that we send that person, the text that we send that person, how you communicate with that lead is completely blind, right? And so while I can go to you and say, hey, I generated a $6 lead, and optically that sounds great, how does it impact downstream conversion? It negatively impacts it, right? So on the Ylopo side, we actually take the tack of saying, you know what, we don't want the lead that is not serious enough to fill out a significant form and registration process to become a lead. That is probably someone who either is not worth talking to because they're not serious about lead generation or of real estate, or it's someone who, even if we registered them with email address and phone number, won't talk to you, right? And so we actually have scientifically gone through and figured out a registration process once they come to our website that may be as long as 20 to 25 questions, right? Now, we're not just grilling the consumer about their background or their motivation. We are providing value. We're trying to find out what type of property they're interested in, what are the parameters that of the home that ultimately they want to buy, and we are creating a wizard that guides them deeper into the home search experience and the realtor experience that ultimately leads to them having a better experience, right? What we also do is we get direct and tacit consent from the consumer to be contacted, right? Most lead generation on the PPC side is, not entirely, but somewhat, tricking the consumer into giving you your contact information by saying, hey, in order to see any content, you have to register, right? And what happens in that case is, again, optically, that looks great. I generate a very cheap lead because the consumer's like, oh, okay, I'm just registering and I'm not going to get contacted. But what happens to downstream quality? When you call, they say, leave me alone, right? What we're doing is we're calling out, hey, first off, we're asking you to double verify your contact information. We are going to text you, and we're asking you to reply to that particular text, right? That's first and foremost. By the way, that takes conversion down by 25%, right? Right there off the top. Your $6 lead is an $8.50 lead, or whatever is the case. But think about how that impacts quality, right? We, throughout the entire flow, tell the consumer, hey, a real estate expert in our team is going to reach out to you, is going to call you, is going to contact you. And not just once, like over and over again, right? Because they need to see that messaging delivered several times, right? And so we are scientists about the registration experience and about the lead capture experience when it comes to PPC, as well as serving obviously a great consumer experience on the home search side. But our goal is the long view. It's not about generating the cheap lead that we can say we did a good job. It's about how do we extract the information necessary to create the best experience for the consumer as well as the agent, right? So that's part one. Part two is we have underlying data on the quality of the leads we generate, right? And we're starting to collect more and more of that data, right? And that data is, for instance, that of 100 leads that were generated, these were the 25 that we talked to and that were positively dispositioned, right? Became a hot lead, became an A lead, 3 to 6 month lead, within 90 days, so on and so forth. We then look at what leads have been contacted. These are the 42% of leads that actually responded to a text conversation. These are the leads. We've even gone so far as to build out our own call center so that when we talk to the leads, or we have a definitive understanding of if they're a high quality lead or a lower quality lead, right? And this is not looking at this lead in a 5-day, 10-day time frame, which already, frankly, very rarely do people do. We're looking at this over months and months, right? And we're taking that data and we're feeding it back into the algorithm, right? So we're actually telling Google and Facebook, here were the higher converting leads, here were the better leads in the system, right? Now what we're doing is we're empowering Google and Facebook to use their algorithm to go and find more people who are like the ones that are higher quality, right? Now, again, all of these efforts may lead to a optically more expensive lead, right? You might look at this and say, oh, well, this vendor says they can generate a $6 lead or a $4 lead. Why is Ylopo a $11 lead, a $12 lead, right? That's because lead is a bad metric, frankly, to focus on, right? It should be about quality opportunities, right? And that is what the Ylopo system is designed to do, where the PPC part, which is bidding on keywords and getting them to register, is the beginning of the waterfall of a very long process to generate ultimately an opportunity that closes.